Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Speak Up. I'm Ryan, and I'm thrilled to have you here today, both our loyal returning listeners and those joining us for the first time. In today's session, we're diving deep into 6 practical ways to increase fluency in English. Have you ever felt that your ideas get lost in translation, or that there's an invisible barrier stopping you from expressing yourself clearly in English? Maybe you've caught yourself pausing, wondering why speaking so effortlessly seems like a distant dream. Today, I'm here to explore those very challenges with you. I'll be sharing actionable strategies designed to improve English fluency while showing you how to learn English fast without getting bogged down by complex rules. We'll be introducing smart, everyday techniques that provide practical English-speaking tips to help you turn your language struggles into confident conversations. Imagine transforming your daily interactions into opportunities to polish your skills and finally break free from hesitation. I invite you to listen closely as we uncover these step-by-step methods that can make a real difference in how you communicate.
Hi, everyone, and a warm welcome to you all on Speak Up. I'm Priya, and I'm excited to join this conversation where we address a topic that resonates with so many of us: overcoming the hurdles to fluent English. Today, we're tackling a pressing question. What exactly stops us from speaking English confidently? Perhaps you've wondered why, despite countless study sessions, you sometimes struggle to find the right words when it matters most. In our discussion today, I'll be offering insights into practical, everyday techniques that target these challenges head-on. We're going to look at real implementable steps that not only boost your confidence, but also help you consistently improve English fluency. By incorporating these strategies, you can learn how to learn English fast without feeling overwhelmed, all while picking up valuable English speaking tips along the way. Imagine engaging in conversations where your thoughts flow naturally and every sentence feels like a stepping stone towards mastery. Today's episode is about empowering you to overcome the hesitation and uncertainty that many language learners face. So, get ready to dive into some innovative ideas that promise to change the way you interact in English, turning everyday challenges into opportunities for growth and genuine connection.
First, let's understand the challenges in English fluency. Many learners struggle not because they lack knowledge, but because of certain hidden barriers that slow down their progress. Have you ever felt stuck when trying to express yourself in English? Maybe you hesitate before speaking, afraid of making mistakes. Or perhaps you find yourself mentally translating every sentence from your native language, which makes conversations slow and unnatural. These are common struggles, and they affect millions of learners worldwide. One major issue is the fear of making mistakes. Many people avoid speaking English because they don't want to sound wrong or be judged. This hesitation holds them back from real improvement. Then there's the habit of translating thoughts word for word, which makes sentences sound unnatural and slows down response time. Instead of thinking in English, the brain gets stuck switching between 2 languages. And finally, limited speaking practice is another huge obstacle. Reading and writing alone are not enough. You need real conversations to build fluency. The good news? These challenges can be overcome with the right approach. Stay with us, because we're about to break down practical strategies to tackle these issues head-on.
Exactly, Ryan. These challenges are more common than most learners realize, and the key to fluency is recognizing them early. Think about this. Have you ever wanted to say something in English but stopped yourself because you weren't sure if it was correct? That hesitation is what we call the fear of speaking English, and it prevents people from improving. The more you avoid speaking, the harder it becomes. Another challenge is overthinking grammar and vocabulary while speaking. Many learners focus so much on avoiding common English mistakes that they lose confidence in their ability to communicate naturally. Instead of focusing on the message, they get stuck worrying about sentence structure. And of course, there's the struggle of translating every sentence in your head before speaking. This habit makes conversations slow and unnatural because English and other languages don't always follow the same structure. To truly overcome the fear of speaking English and break free from these patterns, we need to train our minds to think in English. Up next, we're going to share practical methods to stop translating in your head and start speaking with confidence. Stay with us.
Let's go with method 1. Engage in daily English conversation. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with fluency is that they don't use English consistently in real-life situations. If you only study English but rarely speak it, fluency will always feel out of reach. The key is to make daily English conversation a habit. The more you engage in conversations, the more natural speaking becomes. Now, you might be thinking, but I don't have anyone to practice with. No worries. You can still improve by practicing English conversation practice alone. Try speaking in front of a mirror, describing your daily activities in English, or even pretending to have a conversation with an imaginary friend. The goal is to train your brain to think in English naturally, without hesitation. And if possible, find a language partner, a friend, a colleague, or even an online community where you can regularly speak English. The more you do this, the faster your fluency will improve.
That's so true, Ryan. Fluency isn't about memorizing rules, it's about using the language as much as possible. Even if you don't have an English-speaking environment, you can create one. One simple trick is to narrate your day in English. For example, when you wake up, say out loud, "I'm going to brush my teeth," or "I need to prepare breakfast." This simple practice helps your brain start thinking in English without translating. Another great method is to engage in real-life English conversations whenever possible. When you go shopping, try asking for things in English. If you're at a restaurant, read the menu aloud in English and think about how you would order in English. Small daily interactions like these build confidence and make speaking feel natural. And remember, mistakes are part of the learning process. Don't let the fear of errors stop you from speaking.
Absolutely, Priya. Speaking daily, even in small doses, makes a huge difference. And here's another practical exercise. Record yourself speaking in English. Choose a simple topic, like your weekend plans or a favorite movie, and talk for 1 or 2 minutes. Then, listen to your recording and notice areas where you can improve. This is an excellent way to track progress and develop confidence. The goal is to make English a natural part of your day. The more you immerse yourself in the language, the smoother your speech will become. And trust me, once you break the hesitation barrier, speaking English will feel effortless.
Yes, fluency comes from practice, and the best way to practice is to incorporate English into your daily routine. So, don't wait for the perfect moment. Start speaking today. Whether it's practicing alone, joining a discussion group, or using English in daily tasks, every effort counts. The more you practice, the more confident and fluent you'll become.
Now, let's talk about something that plays a huge role in fluency: pronunciation and accent training. A lot of people focus only on learning new words and grammar, but if your pronunciation isn't clear, it can affect how well people understand you. The good news is that improving pronunciation doesn't mean you need a perfect British or American accent. It's about speaking clearly and confidently so that your words are easily understood. One of the simplest ways to improve pronunciation is by repeating phrases after native speakers. This is called the shadowing technique. You listen to a sentence, pause, and then try to say it exactly the same way. It helps you train your mouth muscles to produce sounds more naturally. And if you're wondering, how can I sound like a native speaker? Don't worry. We're going to share some easy exercises that will help you get there.
That's right, Ryan. Pronunciation is a key part of fluency, and small changes can make a big difference. A great way to practice is by listening carefully to native speakers and mimicking how they speak. Pick your favorite English speaker, maybe from a podcast, a movie, or even a YouTube video, and try to copy their rhythm and intonation. This helps in English accent training and makes your speech sound more natural. Another fun exercise is recording yourself and comparing it with a native speaker's pronunciation. Say a sentence, listen to how you sound, and then try again until you get closer to the correct pronunciation. You'll be surprised how much this helps. And remember, fluency isn't just about speed, it's about speaking clearly and effectively.
Absolutely. Another powerful tip is to focus on common pronunciation mistakes that learners often make. For example, many English learners struggle with sounds like "thee" in words like think or that. A simple trick? Place your tongue between your teeth slightly when saying these words instead of using D or T sounds. Also, understanding word stress and intonation is key. In English, certain syllables in words are emphasized more than others. For example, in the word important, we stress the second syllable, important. Learning these small details helps you sound more natural and makes your speech flow better. The best part? You can practice anywhere. Just repeat words and phrases as you go about your day.
Exactly, Ryan. And if you want to make pronunciation practice fun, try learning with music or movies. Sing along to English songs, repeat dialogues from movies, or even use tongue twisters like "She sells seashells by the seashore." These exercises strengthen your pronunciation and make it more natural over time. At the end of the day, pronunciation isn't about sounding perfect. It's about being understood easily. So, start practicing today. Try shadowing, mimic native speakers, and use these pronunciation exercises daily. You'll see a huge improvement in your fluency.
Let's move on to one of the most powerful techniques for fluency, shadowing. If you've ever struggled to keep up with native speakers or felt like your brain takes too long to process English, this technique can help. Shadowing is simple yet highly effective. You listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say at the same time, trying to match their pronunciation, tone, and speed. Think of it like following a shadow. Your voice should closely follow the speaker's voice, almost like an echo. This method forces your brain to process English in real time, making it easier to understand native English speakers and respond naturally in conversations. The best part? You don't need a speaking partner or a classroom to practice. It's something you can do anywhere, anytime.
That's absolutely right, Ryan. The shadowing technique works because it helps you break free from the habit of translating in your head. Many learners struggle with fluency because they first think in their native language and then translate their thoughts into English. This slows down speech and makes conversations feel unnatural. But when you shadow, your brain gets used to processing English directly without translation. Here's how you can practice it. First, choose a short audio clip, maybe from a podcast, a movie, or an audiobook. Listen carefully once to understand the meaning, then play it again and repeat immediately, copying the speaker's pronunciation and rhythm as closely as possible. Start with slow and clear audio and gradually move to faster, natural speech. Over time, this will improve your English listening practice and help you respond in real conversations with ease.
Yes. And what's great about shadowing is that you can use it with different accents to train your ears. Try listening to British, American, or Australian speakers and mimic their way of speaking. This will help you adapt to different speaking styles and accents, making real-life conversations much easier. Many English learners say they struggle to understand native speakers because they talk too fast. Shadowing solves this problem by training your brain to keep up with natural speech speed. You'll notice that after a few weeks of consistent practice, your listening and speaking skills will improve dramatically. Another great tip is to use subtitles when starting out. Read along as you listen, and then gradually remove the subtitles once you feel more confident.
That's a great tip, Ryan. Another fun way to practice shadowing is by using your favorite TV shows or movies. Pick a scene with natural conversation, play it, and try to speak along with the characters. This helps with pronunciation, tone, and even learning real-life English expressions. If you're feeling shy about speaking English in public, shadowing is also an excellent way to practice alone. You don't need a conversation partner to develop fluency. You just need the right listening material and a commitment to daily practice. So, if you want to sound more fluent, start shadowing today. It's one of the fastest and most effective ways to train your brain to think and speak in English naturally.
One of the biggest reasons people struggle with fluency is that they feel limited by their vocabulary or get stuck trying to form grammatically correct sentences. But here's the thing. You don't need an advanced vocabulary or perfect grammar to speak English fluently. What you really need is a strong foundation of commonly used words and simple, natural sentence structures. Think about how native speakers talk in daily life. They don't use overly complicated words or long, confusing sentences. Instead, they rely on clear, straightforward language. So, the key to fluency is expanding your vocabulary while keeping your grammar simple and natural.
That's a great point, Ryan. Many learners try to memorize long lists of difficult words, thinking it will make them sound more fluent. But real fluency comes from using the right words at the right time. Instead of memorizing random vocabulary, focus on words that are actually useful in daily conversations. One of the best ways to do this is by using an English vocabulary builder app or reading books and articles that match your level. And when you learn a new word, don't just memorize its meaning. Use it in a sentence, say it out loud, and try to include it in a conversation. This way, the word becomes part of your active vocabulary, and you won't forget it.
Exactly. And when it comes to grammar, many learners overcomplicate things. The truth is, you don't need to know every grammar rule to speak English well. Instead of worrying about advanced tenses and complex structures, focus on the basics, the most commonly used tenses, simple sentence patterns, and practical phrases. That's why using resources like English Grammar Made Easy can be a great way to simplify grammar learning. And if you keep making the same grammar mistakes, don't stress about them. Just make a habit of fixing one mistake at a time. For example, if you always mix up he and she, or struggle with past and present tense, correct yourself as you speak, and gradually, these mistakes will disappear.
That's so true. And another great way to expand your vocabulary and improve grammar naturally is by exposing yourself to real spoken English. Whether it's through podcasts, movies, or conversations. Instead of studying grammar from a textbook, listen to how native speakers form sentences and try to imitate their patterns. Also, use practical techniques like learning words in context. For example, instead of memorizing the word efficient, learn how it's used in sentences like, "This method is very efficient for learning English." This makes it easier to remember and use new words correctly. And if you ever feel stuck, don't be afraid to simplify. Fluency isn't about sounding fancy. It's about being clear, confident, and natural.
One of the easiest and most effective ways to improve fluency is by using modern media and digital tools. Instead of relying only on textbooks, why not make learning fun and natural? Watching movies, listening to podcasts, and using language apps can help you immerse yourself in English without even realizing you're learning. For example, when you learn English with movies or Netflix, you get exposed to real-life conversations, natural pronunciation, and common expressions. And the best part? You can pause, rewind, and repeat dialogues to understand them better. This is especially helpful for English listening practice because it trains your ears to recognize words in different accents and speeds.
That's such a good point, Ryan. And it's not just movies. English podcasts for learning are another powerful tool. Unlike movies, podcasts focus more on spoken English, which means they're great for improving listening skills and pronunciation. The best way to use podcasts is to listen actively. Don't just let the words flow past you. Try to repeat key sentences, mimic the speaker's tone, and even shadow their speech to improve fluency. This is a great way to understand native English speakers and get comfortable with real-life English conversations.
And if you prefer interactive learning, language apps are a fantastic option. There are so many out there that focus on English vocabulary building, grammar improvement, and even pronunciation training. Using the best apps to learn English, you can practice at your own pace, track your progress, and even get AI-powered feedback on your speaking skills. Plus, most of these apps are super convenient. You can practice anytime, anywhere. So even if you have a busy schedule, you can learn English at home or on the go.
Absolutely, and don't forget about free English learning resources. Many websites offer interactive exercises, quizzes, and lessons that cover everything from grammar to pronunciation. The key is to make learning a daily habit. Even if you only have 10 or 15 minutes a day, use that time to watch an English video, listen to a podcast, or practice on an app. With so many digital tools available, there's no excuse not to practice. The more you expose yourself to English through media and technology, the faster you'll speak English confidently and fluently.
The last method is all about confidence. You might have all the vocabulary, know the grammar, and practice regularly, but if you don't speak English confidently, all that knowledge stays locked inside your head. Many learners hesitate because they fear making mistakes or feel nervous when speaking in front of others. But here's the truth. Mistakes are part of learning. Every fluent speaker today was once a beginner who made plenty of mistakes. So instead of fearing them, embrace them as stepping stones to improvement.
That's so true, Ryan. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you build with practice. One way to overcome the fear of speaking English is by starting small. Talk to yourself in English when you're alone, describe what you're doing throughout the day, or even practice English conversation alone by recording yourself. This is especially helpful for those who feel shy or anxious speaking in front of others. English practice for introverts can begin in private and gradually move to real conversations with friends or online communities.
And let's not forget that body language and mindset play a big role in confidence too. Stand tall, make eye contact, and speak with energy. These small changes can make a huge difference in how you come across. Also, instead of worrying about grammar perfection, focus on expressing your ideas clearly. Even native speakers don't always use perfect grammar in daily conversations. The goal is to speak English without hesitation, not to sound like a textbook.
Exactly, and a great way to boost confidence quickly is by putting yourself in real situations where you have to speak English. Join an online discussion, participate in a language exchange, or even try speaking to a stranger in English. The more you push yourself out of your comfort zone, the faster your confidence will grow. Remember, fluency isn't just about knowing English, it's about using it without fear.
And that wraps up today's podcast. We've shared 6 practical ways to increase fluency in English, from daily conversations and pronunciation training to digital tools and confidence-building techniques. Now it's your turn. Start applying these methods in your daily life and you'll see real improvement.
And don't forget to keep practicing and stay consistent. If you found this episode helpful, make sure to tune in for more English speaking tips in our next podcast. Until then, keep learning, keep speaking, and most importantly, believe in yourself.